Hello and welcome to Too Much Free Time Gaming. My name's John and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. So, as you can tell, this is my first ever video of this nature, and I figured I'd start with a game that meant probably the most to me when I was growing up. And if you've seen the game before or played it, hopefully you'll enjoy watching along. If you're completely new, well, and maybe, hopefully this will pique your interest and you'll see a crazy world of Disney and Final Fantasy. So, sitting here on the title screen, it's the Final Mix version for anyone, which is also on the PC version. I haven't loaded any mods or changed anything to make it any different than that. Hopefully the audio and the visuals are coming through nice and clear. If not, you can leave a comment, let me know. Like I said, this is the first time I'm delving into this kind of thing and would appreciate any kind of feedback that could possibly help. Let's go on this journey together, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that they always tell you to do. It definitely helps. Very much appreciate it. And let's dive in, right? All right, so starting new, and because I'm just that kind of person, we're gonna go right for proud. I'm gonna move that camera, and this doesn't really matter for you guys, so I'm just gonna turn that off. All right, let's jump in. Back to the world of 2002. Now, for copyright reasons and such, unfortunately, we have to skip this opening scene. But for anybody who hasn't ever heard and or seen it, I would definitely suggest maybe finding it. It's called Simple and Clean, the song that plays by Utada Hikaru. It's one of my favorites just to kind of jam out to. And when I first heard it, when I first loaded this game up, it was something completely different. So luckily this version lets us skip scenes, so I don't have to worry about editing that. Unfortunately, we missed a part of the thing. Basically, our main character, Sora, basically fell or dove into this dream, and that's where we find him. And let's go. Yeah, unfortunately, so much to do, so little time. Take your time. Don't be afraid. Yeah, unfortunately, you miss a little bit of... The door is still shut. Now, step forward. Can you do it? And unfortunately, you miss a little context in the cutscene in the beginning and everything. Really beautiful CGI, even from back in 2002. 21 years ago. Oof, jeez, think about that. So yeah, your typical move around. Now this is part power sleeps within you. If you give it form, it will give you strength. Now choose well. So basically, in the beginning of this game, you choose your parameters of how you want to play through the game, at least a little bit more stat-wise. So basically, it breaks down. You choose the staff, you get a little bit boost in magic. You choose the shield, you get a boost in defense. And you choose the sword, and you get a boost in strength, as well as it affects the abilities that you get. It's been a few years since I've played now, and I'm not looking at anything right now, so off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, it may also affect the abilities that you get or when you get them, but there's also another part that affects that as well. So, because we're big RPG boys, we're going to pick a sword. The power of the warrior, invincible courage, a sword of terrible destruction. Is that the power you seek? Yeah, sure. The path is set. Now, what will you give up in exchange? Now it says that, like, what are you going to give up in exchange and everything. It doesn't really, like, you're not going to be super bogged down by any kind of, like, oh my god, if I'm not going to, my magic's going to be garbage or this, that, and the other. You know, I'm not going to have any defense, so I'm going to die in one hit. You're on proud mode anyway. Well, we're on proud mode now, so we're going to die. But I'm going to go ahead and give up the Mystic since I went with the sword. I'm going to focus on the power of the Mystic. Inner strength, a staff of wonder and ruin. You give up this power. Yeah, like I said, it's saying you give up, but it's really just, you know, you'll get less of a oomph from magic. But since we're going to go around and be RPG lads with our swords and such, we're going to go ahead and not worry about that. Plus, you've chosen the power of the warrior. You've given up the power of the mystic. Is this the form you choose? Choose the form of your destructor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's... yeah. Meanwhile, this kid is having the best trip of his life. Or the worst, depending on, you know, where you're coming in from that. I don't know about you, but if I was having a dream like this, I would be... I don't know if I'd be happy about it or tweaking out, but I guess it would also depend if I knew on who these characters were. So if you couldn't tell, these are all Disney princesses, and they play a major part later, but we won't give that away. You've gained the power to fight. Yep, so your basic... It's your basic... Alright, you've got it. Use the power to protect yourself and others. So yeah, it's your basic, you know, free roam, hack and slash RPG. With a little bit of, you know, have your health, everything like that. It's very simple. This was back in, like I said, 2002, so they keep it pretty simple. The blue gauge shows your magic points. Magic is still a mystery. So yeah, we don't even have magic at this point. So what would we be doing? Running around with a staff and whacking people? Get a sword. Baller. There will be times you have to fight. Yeah, keep your light burning strong. Because you have to fight weird monsters that can fade into textures. Obviously. RPG fashion, you gain experience points for every enemy you defeat. With enough, you gain a level. Furthermore, defeated enemies sometimes leave items behind. That green orb you just saw disappear. You can take these items by walking up to them. Different items can do different things, like restore HP or MP. Oh no, he's going for the backstab. He's rogue. Generally, you'll automatically target the nearest enemy, but you can lock on to specific targets by pressing the right bumper. Lock on will appear in the upper left corner of the screen while you're locked on. Locking onto targets limits the actions available. Basically, you're going to be focusing on one. You just press it again to release. There you see, you got your movement in battle. Got your health orbs to pick up, which are those green orbs. You take a hit. You have your basic combo for right now. And now we're going, and since we did what we were supposed to, that look on his face. Some of the facial expressions in this game, you can definitely tell when they're in that static. They look interesting, but for a lot of the time, for back in 2002, everything on this looks super crisp and good because it's, you know, the Final Mix PC version, so it's very, very, very crisp. Yeah, the facial animations, but even for back then, were amazing. Like, early era PS2. It wasn't a launch title, but it was very early era PS2, if I remember correctly. And for then, this was quite amazing, but you can also tell. I mean, look at the size of those shoes. I believe he was supposed to be the main character, since this was a Disney property. Since it's a Disney property, Oh, this is a field icon. It pops up whenever a special command is available. When Y, examine, pops up, you can press Y to examine the object in front of you. You get a little lock-on thing, Sora gets a little question mark above his head, and everybody knows what's going on. Now, in the old, when this first came out, you used to have to, like, scan down this little command menu, and there would be, like, a thing down here, but they optimized it to match Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 systems, where you just pops up like that, and you have a very much simpler time. I can't open it! Ooh. Y'all know what we do with chests and RPGs. But yeah, I believe he was supposed to be a kind of mixture of, like, at least in looks-wise, clothing-wise, of Mickey Mouse, given the shoes, and, like, the coloring. As well as just being, like, an original RPG character protagonist with all the belts and buckles and such, which gets even better in number 2, trust me. But the designer, if any of you know, Tetsuya Nomura, he is well known for his art style and design. Crazy, like, really good art, and if you want to look him up, I would suggest doing so. But yeah, that's his style. Belts, buckles, and chains everywhere. So this is just saying that the Y button does all kinds of things. It's how you just basically interact with the world in terms of just opening things, looking at things. And of course, that's how you open a chest. Just tap it. Just give it a little taparoo. A little tap, tap, taparoo. You can push large crates. Yep. And yes, you can smash things by wailing on it. And sometimes destroying objects yields items. So yeah, let this be a lesson, since apparently this is the theme. Breaking things yields objects that you can then walk into to pick them up. No, I can't advertise that. Don't do that, home kids. Don't smash things and expect items to be inside of them. Or for smashing things to make doors materialize. I kind of already did this, but yeah, you can lock on to items and objects as well and smash them or lift them, which, you know, I didn't do. I opted for the smashy. But as you can see on the hilt there, get a lovely little Mickey Mouse head, because I'm going to rule you all. So, and yeah, so it made the door appear. Totally nothing on the other side. So that's, you know, I don't know where that's going to go. This first episode might go a little longer. I'm going to try and get through this prologue area, a little tutorial, and get to the save point afterwards. And so we will see just how long. Yeah, first person isn't really, I mean, it lets you look around, but it's not really like all that useful. So you can't like move during it. So anyways, we walked through that door, got the ever-living crap blinded out of us, and now we're on a weird island, it looks like. And we have our little pals here that we can apparently talk to. So anybody new to RPGs, these will just look like random, you know, weird kids just hanging out on them as they do. But to anybody not new to the RPG scene and who may or may not have played a Final Fantasy game or two, you should recognize our boy Waka, our boy, alright, here we go. Here's the controversy. Titus or Titus. I prefer Titus because it just sounds better to me, but whatever you want to call him. And Selfie. You know, before they were an annoying thing that people do with their food. But yeah, so a lot of the actual human, unless if they're not an original character to this game, a lot of the human NPCs will be Final Fantasy characters. There will be originals, but there are a lot of the actual people that you interact with are Final Fantasy characters. Because of the weird amalgamation that somebody decided, like, hey, let's mix. Somebody from Square went to Disneyland and was like, I see what we can do here. And they were like, let's mix Disney and Square Enix Final Fantasy characters and see what happens. And well, love it or hate it, it turned into quite the phenomenon. So basically, these kids ask you questions, and I believe this determines how quickly you level up. I don't remember like specific optimization, but I think it depends. Like it goes by how your abilities are gained through levels and things like that. I think there's like, so you can challenge yourself to get certain abilities later, like abilities that keep you from dying from combos in one thing, or dying in one hit, and this, that, and the other stuff. Like, so I'm just gonna pick actually what I'm, you know. So what are you so afraid of? Being indecisive because I can't pick now. I think getting old. Like, nobody wants to get old. He asks, is that really so scary? Yeah, it's scary, man. Have you dealt with medical prices lately? Getting old's gonna suck. Alright, and they ask, what do you want out of life? Or it's more like, hey, what do you want out of life? Because that's how Waka talks. He's just a weird person. I mean, these are all, like, I'd want all these. I want to see rare sights, I want to broaden my horizons, and I want to be strong. So, I mean, preference. So let's go with to be strong. Because I feel like if you're strong enough and everything, you have enough will, you'll be able to do all those things. So what's most important to you? All right, I'm going to pick the one that this game, you're going to hear a bunch of this throughout the game, but yeah. Because my friends are my power. Is it such a big deal, though? You're afraid of getting old. You want to be strong. And you want friendship. Your adventure begins at midday. Keep a steady pace, and you'll come through fine. And yeah, they give you the chance to re-choose these. I think, like I said, depending on the combination of choices that you pick, is where you said. I think the midday steady pace. I think that's basically just the middle ground. Like I'll get abilities at a decent pace. It won't take too long. That kind of thing. So we'll just go with it. I'm not shooting for. The day you will open the doors, both very far and very near. Uh-oh. Some of that epic music kicking in now. We're back in Princess Land. As it says, go to the light. It says you gotta open your menu. You can't open your menu during battle. It just pauses the game instead. Now we're gonna get into some, oh yes, conveniently appearing swords that just, you know, pop into your hand, because that was the way they got around how the daunting question of how do these swords and stuff stay on protagonists' hands and or on their backs. And well, this game helped solve that solution. Magically appearing swords. So yeah, these enemies in the beginning, not hard. They're just your typical cannon fodder. If you notice me kind of wrecking them even on proud mode, it's because you're not going to have. Now that's a save point. Now I'm not going to stop here because, like I said, I want to get through the prologue and actually, like, you know, get to after this. But basically just you walk into the circle. Yep. God has shown us the way. The light. Okay, so I'm going to quick save. Like I said, nothing, no files yet. So I haven't played this on the PC fully, and or in general in quite a while. So we make our way up the stained glass stairway. Which, this kid's got some cojones to just walk on that. Obviously, hey, look at that, you know. For any of you Disney lovers out there, you can definitely see what they're getting at here. The closer you get to the light, the greater your shadow becomes. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, that's just... that happens all the time. Don't be afraid. Yeah, no, don't be afraid. It's just your shadow coming to life and enlarging and turning into some hell beast. And don't forget, even though you don't have audio and can't yell in this world, apparently, you can scream your ass off. And you have nowhere to run. So don't forget that. Alright, this is our first semi-boss. I think, if I'm mistaken, you can, yeah, get up there and smack away. Now those, you see tech. Now see, I just got to level up mid-battle because those tech points are extra experience that you get mid-battle. You can get mid-battle for blocking, parrying, hitting certain areas on enemies. Very handy for extra level ups. You don't have any kind of guard or dodge or anything yet, so basically you're just running. I think you can actually hit these back. Ow. I can hit them back. No. Maybe? Possibly? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, all those tech points. So, you just gotta run around. Wait for him to attack so you can attack. And you're like very early boss, very basic. Oh, okay, that happened. Hey, keep smacking him. Then it goes into this cool slow-mo. All right, boss number one done. Hey, and then they just take away your sword because you beat the guy. You coming in for a kiss? He wants a hug. I don't know what he wants. But don't be afraid. Yeah, don't be afraid. You're just, you know, getting eaten by the darkness. You hold the mightiest weapon of all. I'm pretty sure you don't, since you just took away my sword, you know. So don't forget. Nightmare fuel. You are the one who will open the door. Yay, we did the things. Oh. It was all a dream. For anybody who gets that reference, who's old enough for that. I guess just to point out that I am... Whoa. Hey, we have voices finally.
Give me a break, Kyrie. Sorry, you lazy bum. I knew that I'd find you snoozing down here. No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't... Ow. Are you still dreaming? It wasn't a dream.
You know what that's like, ladies, don't you? I'm just joking. Don't cancel me.
What was that place? So bizarre. Yeah, sure. Say, Kyrie, what was your hometown like? You know, where you grew up? I've told you before. I don't remember. Nothing at all? Nothing. You ever want to go back? Well, I'm happy here. Really? But you know, I wouldn't mind going to see it. I'd like to see it too. Along with any other worlds out there. I want to see them all. So what are we waiting for?
Hey! Aren't you guys forgetting about me? So, I guess I'm the only one working on the raft. And you're just as lazy as he is.
So you noticed. Okay, we'll finish it together. I'll race you. Huh?
What? Are you kidding?
Ready? Go!
Yeah, epic friend moment. So yeah, I'll do my best not to talk during cutscenes that are actually voiced and everything, not to ruin the experience. And we get our title card. Woo! Let's see, probably Disney, Square Enix, such like that. And here we have our first world. Destiny Islands, where young 12 and or 13-year-olds can just roam around freely, ruling the land. So, okay, so here's our little pause menu, as you can see. All right, but for anybody who may or may not recognize voices, the voice of Sora is a young Haley Joel Osment from movies like AI and The Sixth Sense, and I won't give away any, spoilers for that. But as you can see, even though this is the obviously updated version, you can imagine back in good old 2002 that this was quite the little spectacle to observe for a young man and or lady or whomever. But yeah, so when you first play this game, you're like, huh. You look out there and you don't see anything else in the world. You're looking around, you're like, do these children, do these young teens just live on this island? And like, what's going on here? It's so interesting. And I have an attack button, but I believe we have and we can go around and kind of just roam around the island. You see the people that, were talking to us in our little dream. Crazy looking place. Looks like they built like infrastructure and like, yeah. So, but I do happen to know that in this little shack that they built, we have, ta-da, a save point. Woohoo! So, this is where we're going to call this episode for the day. I'm not sure exactly how long it was, but like I said, I wanted this first one to 20 minutes, give or take. Okay, cool. So, thank you all for joining me. I really hope this goes somewhere and we can get a thing going, have this community take off. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. Leave any kind of suggestions or advice that you may or I will take criticism as I need to and try to grow this channel and hopefully grow this into something more. And until next time, have a good one.